Hello and welcome back. So I'm hoping with this tower defense series that we can make everything from scratch. Code, 3D models, possibly textures, and possibly audio too. I don't know if that's too much to start off, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So if you don't have Blender, go ahead and download that now. Go to blender.org, download the latest version. Once you get it open, it should look something like this. If you've never done any 3D modeling before, I'll try to hold your hand through it, but it might be overwhelming. So if you don't want to learn the 3D modeling, you can just download the models from my GitHub account. That should be fine. But yeah, if game development is something you're passionate about, definitely learn 3D modeling because it's super useful and it's super fun once you get the hang of it. So once you get into Blender, hit the A key to select everything, and then the delete key to delete. Then I'm going to hit Shift A and add a cube. Blender is very hotkey friendly. The more hotkeys you know, the faster your modeling is going to be. And to get around, middle click the mouse wheel to rotate, middle click the mouse wheel and shift to pan the view, and you can also zoom in with the mouse wheel. You can also hit 1 to go into front perspective, 7 to go into top view, or 3 on the numpad to go into right view. Those are definitely helpful shortcuts to know. So now I'm going to hit tab to go into edit mode. You can also click down here and switch between object and edit mode. Now once we're in this mode, we can select different vertexes and different faces, and we can start moving things around. So we're just going to try to make a turret. I tried to always have the negative y-axis be the forward direction from our models. I'll explain that more once we take this into Unity. But basically we're going to build a turret right now, and it's going to face this direction. So now I'm going to, while in edit mode, I'm going to right click on this vertex, shift right click, and shift right click. And now I want to scale this in on the x-axis. So to do that, I can just hit the S key, and then the X key, and then pull that in. Now I'm going to select these 4 vertices. So that's right click, shift right click, middle click to rotate the camera, and shift right click twice more, S, X, and drag the mouse to scale that out. And if yours doesn't look if yours looks different than mine, that's totally fine. There's no right way to do this. I'm just making it as I go. So now I'm going to hit the N key because I don't like this grid. So N key to open up this properties tab, open the display section, and set lines to 0. So now the grid is gone. And I'm going to hit Control Tab to go into face selection mode. Right click on this face, and I'm just going to hit Shift D. Now what that did is duplicate the geometry as a separate piece, and now I can just drag this out. And then I can hit E to extrude that. Extrude basically just copies the geometry and creates faces between them. So now I'm going to hit Control L and Shift D one more time. And now you can see as we pull this away, if I pull it out to like here and click, it'll lock that in place. But it's kind of like out of alignment, which is frustrating. Like it moved it forward, but it also moved it at a weird angle. So I'm going to undo that. Extrude one more time. So now we're here, and I want to duplicate this and pull it forward. So I'm going to hit Shift D, and while I'm moving this around, I'm going to middle click the mouse wheel, and it locks it into the y-axis. So that guarantees that we're pulling it directly forward from our model, like that. And now I'm going to hit Shift A and create a cylinder. And this is going to be the barrel of our weapon, and I want it to face out this way. So I'm going to hit R to rotate, and I only want to rotate it around this x-axis. By the way, this gizmo is really helpful if you're trying to figure out how to rotate things. So I'm rotating around this, so I'm going to hit RX 90, and that very conveniently snapped it into place for us. Now I'm just going to pull this forward, S to scale, and S to scale again, but this time I'm also going to hit the Y key, so it only scales along the y-axis. Like that. And then I can hit Tab to go back into object mode, and we can get a better look at it. tab back into edit mode. I think I'm going to scale this more on the y-axis to about there. Now I'm going to select this face, E to extrude, S to scale in, and E to extrude again, and then just left click to lock that in place. Alright, it definitely looks more like a weapon now. Tab back into edit mode. I'm going to select this face, E to extrude, and S to scale that in. And I want to make it look like it has some armor, so I'm going to right click on this face, extrude that, and scale that in. Same thing on this side. And I find that things usually look more interesting when they're not symmetrical. So I'm just going to kind of move these around like that. I'm going to hit S and Y to scale it like that, just to give it some variation. Then I'm gonna hit Control R and create a loop here. And then I'm going to go back into face selection mode, select these two faces and extrude. And then go into edge selection mode and pull this down. And I'm just trying to give it some variation, just make it look less boring. And I also want to select this edge and pull those both forward. And then I'll select these two and pull them back. If you want to continue modeling this on your own, just a few more useful tips. When you're in edit mode, if you want to select a whole piece of geometry, you can click on one of its edges and hit Control L, and that's going to select all the attached geometry. You could do the same thing with the cylinder. Also, sometimes I end up with an issue like this where I'm in object mode, and you can see this is a different color. That's because it miscalculated the normals. It's fine if you don't know what that means, but basically this is wrong. The geometry is messed up. So to fix that, I can just hit Control N, and now you can see it's being shaded correctly. So make sure you do that while you're in Blender, because if it looks wrong like that and you send that into the game engine, it's going to look even worse in the game engine. So yeah, I think that's about it for my quick intro to Blender. I'm also going to select this face and pull this back. And I'm going to go into edge mode, grab this edge and pull it forward. One more thing I want to do is go into face mode. I'm going to select these two faces, pull them up to about there, and then I'm going to extrude. And I want to scale this in on the x-axis. So I'm going to hit S, X, and pull that in. Alright, so now I'm going to save this. And we can save it directly into the Unity project. So I already have mine selected. It's in my GitHub folder, Season 2 Tower Defense. And just make sure you save into the Assets folder within your project. I'm going to create a new folder, and I'll just call this Meshes. And we'll call this Tower Prototype 1. Save. And now if I open that up in Unity, the mesh folder shows up, and now we have a tower. It's looking pretty awesome. I hope this video was helpful, and if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments.